How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to HawkSense. I am your host, Alex Nicolau, and in this week's installment of We Do a Spider-Man related podcast every week now because all the superhero community is so dry and negative, we are doing a Spider-Man 2 for the PlayStation 5 suit wish list, everybody. What I said was true. Everything is so negative right now. I don't want to talk about it. But we already know that the first two games, Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man Miles Morales, both had an extensive amount of suits for us to play with. But even there was some that were missing with Spider-Man's huge list of suits that we have in the comics and even games and other stuff. That and with the new addition of the symbiote suit, there is a lot going on here. So we're going to be doing a Suit Wish Wishlist podcast covering Miles Morales, the symbiote, it's Peter Parker, and then Venom, because maybe Venom is still playable. I'm thinking aloud, and I'm thinking with hope. And then I also have some alternate suit designs now that we know we're doing variants and color variants and stuff like that. So we'll talk about those when we get there. But starting off, we're going to start with Miles, because unfortunately he just doesn't have as much suits as Peter, and maybe we can, I think we have some good ones here. I think I picked out some good ones that could be added. I mean, starting off, I think we all know this one is going to be added, but it is the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Miles Morales suit. It's a great one. I really like the design of it. I think it's better than the first one, and if they have the first one, come on, they gotta have the second one, So that one's kind of a given, right? It's a beautiful suit. I think it will look great in the map, especially now that the game is built straight up from the ground. For the PlayStation 5. So I think it'll look fantastic. Next, we have the Miles Morales 10-year anniversary suit. Now, I personally probably won't be playing with this one. I'm not that big of a fan of it, but I know a lot of people are hoping for it, so I'm going to include it here. I personally just don't like the sweatsuit mixed with the spandex design. I mean, like, together in one type of thing, but to each their own. Next is something I think is very, very awesome and very exciting if we do get this one, because I think the possibilities for a suit power is going to be really awesome. The Captain America Miles Morales. Now, this was a variant cover where Miles Morales becomes Captain America, I think for a Captain America anniversary. And if they have some Fantastic Four suits in the first game, right, and we're getting a Wolverine game, hopefully Insomniac and Marvel could come to a little agreement that they can include this suit, and I think it would be awesome for a suit power, him throwing the shield around at enemies, maybe in like a circle, and it'll come back to him and then he'll stuff it in his pocket. I don't know. Next, no, but I sincerely love the suit, and I think it is a fantastic suit to include. Next is something that I think I want this one for both Spider-Man, because they both become this in the comics, and that's the Captain Universe suit. I think they could do something fantastic with both of the designs. I mean, their designs could be so similar. All they just need to change is this little mouthpiece area, because it's Miles' mask and then Peter's mask, which is the only difference between the two suits. But my comparison is terrible. So how I want it to look is similar to... Have you guys ever seen the cartoon Chowder on Cartoon Network? So in Chowder, the animation and textures are pretty cool. So basically, his character, he has this weird design on his purple clothing, and the design doesn't move with him. It's like he's moving across this design. So whatever angle he's turning or which way he's going, the pattern will stay still, and it will look like he's just like there's like a transparent hat on him that he's sliding across this piece of pattern, which I think is really cool. And I think they could do something very similar with this, in that in the dark blue part of his suit where the stars are supposed to be, I think it would be awesome if the stars moved as he moved, or like maybe if you go to a certain location or turn a certain way, you could see a shooting star, you could see a comet, which is the same thing. You can see planets, you can see asteroid fields, black holes, all that space stuff. I think that'd be a really cool thing to add. But the suit powers for that one would be pretty cool. I feel like maybe he could do like a gravitational, like, and then slam him on the ground or something. I think that'd be really cool. Next, we have, at number 5, we have the Miles Morales Iron Spider suit. Now, this is actually pretty recent. Miles actually got this very, very recently in the comics. Let me see if it'll let me click on the image. Okay, it doesn't say on the cover, but I saw this very recently. It looks pretty cool. It's basically very similar to Peter's, but in more of a Miles Morales fashion. Instead of the red armor, he has kind of the black armor, and then he has red gauntlets and red boots, like how he has on his actual suit. And then to spice it up with the Iron Spider look, he has the gold eyes and the gold chest emblem. And I think it'd be really cool to add in this game if you want to give them kind of a similar suit. Next, I think is something that we all wanted from the first game, but it was unfortunate. I think it's because they couldn't get the license to the Jordans. It's the Into the Spider-Verse hoodie set. I think that would be a great suit to add. I think the addition of the sportswear suit just wasn't as sufficient as we wanted it to be, especially because this one is just so iconic now. With the Jordans and everything. I mean, they had to substitute the Jordans with Adidas in the last game. It's not as good, obviously, but it did its job. It had its purpose. But excuse me for a second. Now number 7 is kind of a reach, I'll say. So if at all in this game Miles gets the symbiote, I feel like it would be cool to see a monstrous type of venomized Miles. So the thing that people are asking, why when Miles gets a symbiote, he has that monster face and he has the claws and everything's all messed up. Why doesn't he get like the symbiote suit like Peter did? So the reason I think people are thinking this is because in the Venom movie, Venom is Venom already. Venom doesn't become Venom until Spider-Man rips him off. The hatred between Venom versus Spider-Man and Eddie Brock versus Peter Parker makes Venom, right? So that it's just an anger type of thing. So when Peter in the comics first gets a suit, they're bonded. They love each other. They love each other. But once Peter rips him off, rejecting him, the symbiote hates Peter Parker. So they take that monstrous form of Venom. So if that Venom symbiote gets on anybody else, they'll become Venom. They won't become a black suited Spider-Man. So there. But yeah, this design is pretty cool. I haven't seen this in comics or this is the best picture I could find of it. So I don't know how much it's been used in comics and whatnot, but I think the design looks pretty cool. I think it'd be a pretty fun thing to swing around with, Next is our last suit for Miles Morales, unfortunately, but he just doesn't have a lot of suits in the comics that are appealing, I would say, or a lot of them have his clothes over them. So I mean, how many variations of that can you have? I mean, we already had a bunch in the first game, or in the Spider-Man Miles Morales. Last one I think would be really cool. You know how we got the Purple Rain suit, mimicking the Prowler. I think it would be awesome if we got the Prowler suit that we see in Across the Spider-Verse. That's a huge reach because they have different abilities. He's not a Spider-Man whatsoever, but I think that'd be a really cool thing to see. Moving on to the symbiote suits, I only have 3, right? And 2 of them are kind of like the symbiote variation of a Peter suit that's already been added or I want added. And the other one is just, so I mean, let's go through it. So right away, I mean, we have the Tobey Maguire, Sam Raimi symbiote suit from Spider-Man 3. I think it's definitely going to be in there. I don't think we have to wish for it. I think it's definitely just going to be in there. It's not that much of a change. It's all black with the spider just having little armed legs, I guess. And then the second one is the Spectacular Spider-Man symbiote suit. I think it would be cool to see if we do get the Spectacular Spider-Man. And if you can guess, I want that one in the game as well. But then lastly, I just have a classic symbiote suit. I just want a classic symbiote suit. I mean, that's what I'm going to be playing with in my New Game Plus playthroughs. As the symbiote Peter, and if we are given the ability to just swing around in the open world as a symbiote, that's what I'm going to be using. It's one of my favorite suits of all time. I got it on my shirt. This shirt's sick, by the way. I got this a while ago, and I have not worn it on a podcast yet, but it's sick. But yeah, it's one of my favorite suits of all time, and I love it. It's classic. So I mean, if you want to add the Secret Wars, the cloth one, or you want to add the shiny slimy symbiote suit, kind of how we see in Insomniacs, but less armory, then yeah, I mean, definitely I'm here for it. I just want a classic symbiote suit. Moving on to my boy Peter Parker, we have a lot. I mean, come on, how can you not have a lot when it comes to Peter Parker? There are so many different variations, but we're gonna start with what I'm gonna call the classics, right? The reason I'm gonna call them the classics is it's because they are classic Spider-Man suits, but I think I think it'll be easier to explain like this. Everybody has a favorite Spider-Man design. Whether it be an alternate suit, whether it be a classic suit with a change. Doesn't matter if you're the Amazing Spider-Man 2, or you're a Todd McFarlane, or you're a Steve Ditko, Jack Kirby. There's a bunch of different designs of Spider-Man that just include the webs, the emblem, the eyes, the red and blue, that are just classic. So I'm naming these the classics, and you'll see why. But starting off is the Tom Holland finale suit. I think this is another one that we're going to be given. I don't think we have to pretty much wish list it, but definitely notable. I mean, who doesn't want the suit in the game? That's going to be so satisfying to play as the suit because it looks just so fantastic in the movie. And I cannot wait to see it in screen again. Next, obviously, another one, the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit. So the reason I think when the remastered game came out with the 3 new suits, and one of them was the Amazing Spider-Man suit, there was complaints about not having the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit. And I believe Insomniac said it's just because it's so similar to the classic design that they didn't see a need to make their developers, make it into the game. I thought they thought we had enough classic type of suits in the game when it came to like the original one, the advanced, their classic version, the vintage one, the Sam Raimi, the Peter Parker, the Tom Holland one. So I understand where they're coming from, but I feel like everybody has like a favorite type of suit. So I understand that completely, but the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit is no exception to that. Everybody loves this suit, and I think they're definitely going to give it to us for sure. Next is the Amazing Fantasy 15 suit. Now, this is the classic Spider-Man suit. I'm talking web wings. I'm talking black instead of blue. I'm talking the light blue, baby blue emblem on the back. The small Steve Ditko eyes. I want this suit in the game. I think this suit would look fantastic in this game. And, I mean, everything about it is fantastic. And I hope they take a more like, not like a vintage comic book suit like they did in the PlayStation 4 video game. But I'm talking more of like a handmade cloth type of fabric looking suit. Next is one that I'm kind of preferring a little bit because I really like this artist. It's a Todd McFarlane Spider-Man suit. I think this would be a fantastic suit. It's another one of those classics that just I feel like a lot of people who will be playing this game now, that are probably a little bit older, maybe I'll say millennial, that want to play this game, grew up reading Spider-Man comics in which Todd McFarlane was doing the art for them. So I think it'd be very, very nostalgic for those type of people. And personally, I love the Todd McFarlane design. I think he's the original designer of the monstrous Venom that we know and love. And I mean, his suit design was classic. It's muscular but skinny. It's got those big eyes that look at the same time friendly and menacing. The very, very tight lot of webbing is awesome. And I think it's a great suit, and I would love to see it in the game. And then, obviously, wrapping up our classic suit is the Spectacular Spider-Man suit. I think everybody wants it. We all know it. If you could add the Spider-Clan suit, you can definitely add the Spectacular Spider-Man with ease. We all know it. Now we're finished with the classics department, and we're getting into some other suits that I think would be awesome to see in this game. Starting off with one that I think is a very underrated alternate Spider-Man suit, the House of M suit. Now, the House of M suit is obviously from the House of M run. Basically, the WandaVision era. That's basically what WandaVision, Doctor Strange, and the Multiverse of Madness, and Spider-Man No Way Home were supposed to be based on. So I really thought that Marvel was going to make a new suit with Spider-Man very similar to this instead of the integrated and the black and gold suits that we did get. But obviously, they didn't do that because they weren't really thinking about the comic books, and they were thinking about the Funko Pops they were making, even though I have them both. Next is the Captain Universe Cosmic Spider-Man. Who doesn't want this suit in the game? Like I said, both of the Miles Morales and Spider-Man ones they have the ability to do something fantastic with them, and it's such a great design. And at one point, before the One Above All came, this Spider-Man was the most powerful character in all of Marvel Comics. I wish he was above the one above all. I think that would be fantastic. I think that would be such a good twist to just have Spider-Man get his powers once again and just be able to wipe out everybody. Because he can. He's the GOAT. He could definitely do it. So now we're done with the classic Spider-Man suits and we're getting into more alternate Spider-Man suits, starting out with what I think to be a very underrated alternate Spider-Man design, the House of M suit. Now, it might not be everybody's favorite. It's definitely not mine, but I do think it's a little bit underrated. And I can see if somebody out there likes this suit. It looks very unique, and you could tell it's Spider-Man, obviously. But it's a very unique looking suit, and I don't think it's ugly whatsoever. So there was a time in which I thought this was going to be the suit that we see in Spider-Man No Way Home, because when they said that Doctor Strange, WandaVision, Loki, and Spider-Man were all connected in some way, and then they were doing WandaVision off of the House of M comic, I was thinking maybe Spider-Man would be having this suit, but they gave us the black and gold and the integrated suit, which, in my opinion, are around the same level as this suit of like what I want. If I was Spider-Man, would I pick that suit? So I mean, it's not the worst, but I think it's definitely one that could that someone could like in this game for sure. Moving on, Captain Universe, Cosmic Spider-Man. Like I said before, they have the opportunity to do something very, very awesome with this suit. So for sure, would love to see this one. Next is the Ben Reilly Spider-Man suit. Not the Scarlet Spider, the Spider-Man suit. Now, I'm not picky. If you want, if you're a member of the breast chest logo or the chest logo, then you do you. I just want to see the suit in the game with the gauntlets and everything. I think it'll be fantastic. Next, I was wondering why this suit was missing from the first game. I was wondering if maybe they were planning on doing a Superior Spider-Man storyline for like a DLC or a game, but I would want the Superior Spider-Man skin. It's a great looking suit. I mean, for those who don't know the story behind it, it's basically Dr. Octopus swaps brain with a dead Peter Parker, and he becomes Spider-Man in Peter Parker's body. It's a very creepy origin, but he ends up being a huge part of the Spider-Geddon comics, and he leads his own team of Spider people because he is the Superior Spider-Man. But I felt like this was kind of missing from the first game, and they kind of missed the opportunity to do it, considering Otto basically gave the this version of Spider-Man his advanced suit, right? So I was wondering maybe if he was working on this in the background, that we had to discover some files and whatnot and unlock this suit. I think that would be a really nice touch, but missed opportunity, but that's okay. They have the opportunity to do it in this next game, right? With maybe a side mission or something. Next, I want Spider-Man India in the game. I don't care if it's the comic suit. I don't care if it's the Across the Spider-Verse one. I think they could do both, maybe, with the variants and whatnot. But I feel like that'd be awesome to play around as Pavitcher. I'm not sure how the bangle situation is gonna work, because he doesn't have web shooters. He has that bangle that has the string on it. So I'm not 100% sure how that's gonna work. Does he have web shooters, or is that just like the bangle just used as like a weapon? Kind of like a web boomerang or something. Because he does swing. I don't know. Either way, I think that would be a really cool suit to have in the game, and I would love playing as that cel-shaded Across the Spider-Verse one. Now we're moving on to some where I'm like, do I even want these in the game? Except for one. One of them's I'm like, yeah, I want this one in the game. So starting off, we have Webman. So Webman is a very, very, very old Spider-Man villain when Spider-Man comics were kind of owned by the Electric Company, and it was kind of like a Sesame Street type of vibe channel that kids would watch, and Spider-Man would make appearances on there. But they would also release comics with this character called Webman, and he's basically Spider-Man with inverted colors. So the red on his suit is blue, and the blue on his suit is red, and that's pretty much it. He has the same powers, and he would just do crimes. I think it would be a funny suit to play around with, and I think Insomniac would be Uh, it would be funny to see Insomniac's like classic Spider-Man suit in the webman form. So I think that'd be pretty cool to see. Now these last 4 suits, I'm honestly surprised none of them made it into the first game because of how wacky they are. But this is from the Identity Crisis storyline, in which Spider-Man gets run out of New York, but Peter Parker stays and wants to change his persona because he still wants to find a way to help people using his powers. So he dons these 4 different personas that are pretty wacky. I mean, the 1 out of the 4 is just really cool, and I would really want to see it. I mean, starting off, I mean, it's Dusk. Dusk is literally this pitched black suit with these big wings. I mean, he's kind of like a Batman type figure, but no features at all. No emblems, no logos, no pattern designs. It's just a straight black costume with these big wings on his under his arms. And I think that's a really cool design, and I think it would be really fun to just have a black figure, swinging around New York. Next, we have Prodigy. Now, this one isn't as cool. I think this is like the 3rd out of the 4th, like, coolest ones. But I think this would be pretty fun to swing around. It has a cape. I know they're trying to experiment more with the capes now that they have the Arachnite and the Shadow Spider suit in the pre-order bonuses. Now, I think it would be a good time to implement characters like this because all 4 of these have some kind of like flowy part of their suit. Like Dusk has those big wings, and now we have the web wing system in the game, so it would be really fun to swing around and glide around in the web wing areas with him. Prodigy has that big cape on his back. He's got this like gold design. It's pretty cool. I would love to see that one in the game as well. Next, I think is my second favorite. My number 1 being Dusk. This is Ricochet. Now, Ricochet has this really cool jacket with an R on his chest. He's kind of got a similar mask as Spider-Man. Silver hair. He kind of looks more like he reminds me a lot of Nomad, Steve Rogers, when Steve Rogers gives up the Captain America mantle. But I think it looks pretty cool. I think it would be awesome to see this one in the game because he's got that big jacket that kind of flows around as well. And then the last one is Hornet. Hornet, he is another bug-themed superhero, but he's kind of got like wings, so he kind of doesn't swing, he kind of flies. I think he has like a jetpack or something, but he still has that strength and whatnot. I think it's my least favorite out of all the suits for sure, but I think it'd be fun to play around with. I think there's definitely an audience for that. So that wraps up the Peter Parker suits. If I'm missing any that you guys want from Miles or Peter or the symbiote suits, please leave it in the comments below, then I will acknowledge it. Next we have Venom. Now, I only have 2 on here. The classic Venom design from the Lethal Protector comics. Can you kind of see it back there? I mean, I think that'd be awesome if we could play as Venom with that one. I know Insomniac definitely wanted to take the more original approach to the character designs, but I know they would get grilled if they didn't even try, so leave them alone. At least they're giving us alternate suits. Probably more alternate suits than we want. And then I think Tom Hardy's Venom would be pretty cool as well. I'm just kind of like a blank slate with the white veins. I think it would be pretty cool to see. Now, in the beginning, I told you guys about some alternate suit designs. Now, unfortunately, when I said there was a bunch that I can think of in the last podcast, there's only 4 that I found, and they're all from Spider-Man 1, nothing in Spider-Man Miles Morales. Now, I already told you, too, it's the Spider-Man Noir. I want him with a trench coat and hat. On the Stealth or Big Time suit with the different color variations, I mean, more than likely we want a red one because that's the more prominent one in the comics. Now for this 3rd one, I only picked it because I feel like there could be an alternate suit that they could add of a similar suit like this that I think is a lot better than the one that they have. The Spider-Man 2099 suit that they have in the game, I'm not a huge fan of it. I think it looks way too blue, not enough shading, and it looks way too like cosplay rather than actual Miguel O'Hara suit. So I would love to see a different variation of that. Maybe a black, maybe a cell shaded, maybe even the one that we see in Across the Spider-Verse would be awesome. But I want a better Spider-Man 2099 suit for sure. Now, lastly, we have the homemade suits. Now, I know we have the original homemade suit from Homecoming and the wrestler suit in the game, but I think it'd be fun to have the Tobey Maguire wrestler/homemade suit first, and then I don't know who wants it, but the Andrew Garfield one, maybe if you want it. I mean, it's the worst vigilante suit that we have. But I mean, there's some other ones in the comics, like there's the wrestler suit where it's like the actual fishnets and the brown jacket. I think would be cool. And there's other homemade suits out there in the comics for Miles and Peter that could be cool to see. So that about does it for my Marvel Spider-Man 2 suit wish list, everybody. If you guys agree or disagree with any of my picks, leave them in the comments down below. And if you think I missed one that you guys want to see in the game, also comment that down below. If you like the video, make sure to leave a like. And if you guys like the channel, like the content, maybe consider subscribing. It's free. Sorry this video wasn't as lengthy as the other podcasts are. Everything else in the comic book community that we can talk about is just very negative. So I don't want to go from talking about, oh my god, I'm so hyped for this game, it's going to be so fun, to, to Naguerta just got accused of sexual assault. Like, it's negative, it's disappointing as is, and I just don't want to talk about it. I switched to visuals so we can have a little bit more fun and not just talk about news all the time, because, like, we could do a lot more with visual. So I don't want to always talk about the news and just negative things that are going on in the community. So I hope you guys can understand why I don't want to talk about that kind of stuff. It's just it's just disappointing as is. So anyways, if you guys like the content of the channel, please make sure to subscribe. If you guys like the video, make sure to leave it a like. And if you guys have any questions about Red Hawk Media and maybe want to get involved, you can contact us at redhawk.media on Instagram and DM us. I will personally respond to any questions you guys have for me. Once again, guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.